Michael Van Gerwen and Luke Littler will be joining us in the next hour. I think it's a little bit less, but I don't want to give too much away. And that's, of course, before they step onto the stage, onto the hockey. Roundabout, I don't know if I can tell you, but I'm going to tell you, we're friends. About 8:15 is their walkouts. Just quickly, Marcus Rashford has reportedly rejected 3 bids from clubs in Saudi worth up to £35 million a year. Thomas Tuchel is set to watch his first round of club fixtures as England head coach this week, starting with Tottenham's match at home to Newcastle. He needn't bother because it's live on talkSPORT tomorrow. He could have sat home. And the Spurs boss, Ange Postecoglou, has been speaking to the media ahead of that game and reflected on the year just gone.
Right now, people don't recognise as anything, but we finished 5th last year. We finished 8th the year before. People keep forgetting that I didn't pick up a club that finished 3rd and we finished 5th. So even though, the back end of last year was a struggle for us, it was still, I thought, a real positive season on the back of what we had to do in terms of player turnover. We lost some significant players.
Now, Tottenham have won just 2 of their last 10 games in all comps. They've come into this game 11th in the Premier League. Meanwhile, Newcastle won their last 5 games in a row in all comps. Benny, let's start with Spurs. They are at home, of course, for this one. But do you still make Newcastle favourites? Because when Man United played them last weekend, we talked about how great they're, not just their midfielders, but their attacking options out wide as well. They're sort of front 6, if you like. I think he's fantastic. I think that's and Tottenham have got so many injury worries. There is talk at the moment on social media, I don't know how true it is, that they couldn't even field a known back 5 at the moment. So real problem for Spurs, real big game this one for them tomorrow. Yeah,
it is, and they'll know that a lot of people have probably written them off in this fixture because Newcastle have looked sensational the last month or so, getting results, and Tottenham have been a bit inconsistency. Obviously, they drew with Wolves 2-2. They got beat by Forest. There's no disrespect to losing to Forest. They're flying. They lost to Liverpool 6-3. It can happen. But they've just got to find a way of doing it now. They have to. You can't keep the excuses now. You've got to. Everyone's had to deal with injuries. Ange's talking about it now. It sounded a bit ratty in that little bit of audio when he said, "Well, I didn't take a club from 8th to 5th." Do you know what I mean? It was a little bit. I thought, come on, Ange. We understand that you're under a little bit of pressure, but Spurs now. He's almost now been forced into the situation where he can't just sit back and go, I have to change the way we play now. He's been so vocal about, this is the way we're going to play. Yeah. If people don't like it, this is what we're going to do. And the injuries have piled up and he still continues to play the same way. He's going to have to keep doing it. But in my head, I've got a mad scoreline, 3-3. I know
Why have you got that?
Because, everyone would expect Newcastle to turn up and roll Spurs over because that's the way they've been playing. But a couple of, I can't remember how many weeks ago it was, West Ham rocked up, who couldn't win a game, rocked up to St James's Park and won 2-0.
I know, but that was an anomaly.
Why can't this one be?
I know, but because Spurs are decimated at the moment. Newcastle flying high.
West Ham had no.
You're right. It does happen. You do get freak results, but you just saw what Spurs were like throwing take against Liverpool. I know they scored 3 goals, but they conceded 6.
Yeah.
And they haven't got back 5. I mean, we shouldn't underestimate that. I know, everyone's very quick to go, oh, yeah, but we've got injury problems. I get that. That's absolutely fine. But Spurs have them.
Yeah,
and they are massive.
And that's where you've got to be able to adapt. But they haven't done that up until this point. So you've got to just keep going and keep trying to get results. But, I mean, I'm probably being a bit, not facetious, but I just think 3-3 just feels in my head the right scoreline, although Newcastle are flying. But it's a big period for Ange. Really big period. Because I do wonder now, all of a sudden, I know the obvious answer is, get back in the Champions League. But realistically, when you look at the teams that are at the top end of the table, where should Spurs be finishing? I know the aim, just as Manchester United would be, get back in the Champions League. You've got to be realistic. Where can they finish Spurs this season now? If they finish 8th, is that good enough? They finished 5th last year, which does go under the radar. But you go, 8th, is that good enough? 10th with the injuries they've had? It'd be interesting. If they win a cup, I wouldn't say their finishing position is irrelevant.
It's a free pass for another season.
But yes, if you win a cup, the Spurs fans will be so made up with that trophy. And flip that, I think Newcastle fans would take pretty much any finish to win a trophy.
Yeah, you're right. A trophy for both clubs is absolutely massive. How big is this game for Ange Postecoglou? Spurs do get tonked at home, and there's every chance that might happen.
Yeah, it's still a big game, but I don't think it's any bigger than the games they've been in before. They're just in really bad form. He's got to find a way of turning that around.
Can he go? If it's a 5 or 6-0, if we come in Monday and we're talking about Newcastle winning 6-1,
I wouldn't. I'd stick with him.
Okay.
Because what do they do again?
No, I agree with you.
It just feels like at the minute every easy answer for most clubs that are struggling is sack the manager.
Yeah.
At some point you have to stick with the manager. And go,
you're right.
You didn't want Conte, you didn't want Jose, you didn't want Nuno. At some point you're gonna have to go. You can't go. We don't want Ange, because what happens then?
Yeah, then where do they go? You're right. Newcastle winger Jacob Murphy has been speaking to talkSPORT ahead of the game. He was asked whether his teammate Alexander Isak is one of the best strikers in the Premier League.
He's got to be in the conversation for sure. Super talent. You know, not only has he got a wonderful scoring ability to be able to finish, you know, magnificently in tight areas, or, you know, when he's given a bit more space, he can still lash it into the top corner. So he's got that, but then his overall play, the way he connects the units, he's doing brilliant at the moment. Keep growing, keep learning, and, you know, he'll actually get a lot better than he already is.
Listen, all these boys are so well trained in the media. When you ask a question like that, it's only going to be positive. But I sort of agree with a lot of what Jacob Murphy was saying there. How highly do you rate Alexander Isak at the moment?
Yeah, top draw. Top. I think he's the best all-round centre-forward in the Premier League. I mean, he would be in my team in the season so far. I know you can make an argument for Haaland, the numbers. Chris Wood, certainly at Nottingham Forest, flying. But I just think when he's...
Not putting Kai Havertz in there?
No, I should put, who's your centre
I'm
forward?
asking you.
No, but who's your centre forward again? I can't. Is
you
it
know,
Xerxes?
yeah, Xerxes, yeah.
Is it? Oh,
yeah.
Rashford, is it? Oh.
Xerxes is good, mate. For a rugby match breaks out.
But no, I think for Alexander Isak, his all-round play, getting him behind, his pace.
I love how you just come straight back to Man United.
Yeah.
Look, we're in the gutter at the moment,
Why
right?
did you come Arsenal?
I'm just asking about Kai Havertz.
So, anyway. But no, I think he's got best, like his finishing, his touch, all-round is strong. He just fits that mould of being a proper centre-forward. And for Newcastle, my only worry with Newcastle moving forward about the likes of Gomes, Tonali, Joe Linton, Alexander Isak, is that how long are these players prepared to play without Champions League football? Because every single one of those players I've mentioned should be playing in the Champions League. At some point, they're going to go, I understand we're fantastic finishing 7th or 6th, but I want to be in the Champions League, and that's where the difficulty might happen.
Yeah, so it's about Arsenal players. Still to come,
we're
we'll
in
be
it,
joined...
mate. We're in it. Are you in it?
I thought you meant winning.
Championship.
Huh? Might be in that soon. Still to come, we'll be joined live by both Michael Van Gogh and Luke Littler ahead of tonight's PDC World Darts Championship final. It's live on talkSPORT. They should be joining us in the next 45 minutes, so definitely stay where you are. First, it's time for No Googling, the first of 3. What a darts question this is. Now, you haven't got the answer in front of you, right? I don't think you will. What is the least frequently hit segment on a dartboard? So imagine the dartboard, but not the outside bit where it's 0, right? Because that would only, in fact, that wouldn't count anyway, but with us it would. So I include everything. Every single part of a dartboard. What bit is used the least? I'm including all singles, all doubles, all trebles, out ball and in ball. All right? Okay? It's a part of one number. Do you understand the question?
Yeah, it's kind of.
It's a part of one number.
All right.
For argument's sake, treble 20, but that's probably the most used.
Okay, cool.
So it's the opposite end of that scale.
All right.
The answer to that, in this hour, Michael Van Gogh and Luke Littler will be joining us live on Drive on talkSPORT. Excuse me, stay where you are.
talkSPORT Drive with Andy Goldstein. Monday to Friday afternoon from 4 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.